President Trump has called out several Democrat lawmakers over what he calls a seditious conspiracy after they posted a video encouraging troops to disobey orders. That's right, we have a tweet here from Senator Alyssa Slotkin. She said, "We want to speak directly to members of the military and the intelligence community. The American people need you to stand up for our laws and our Constitution. Don't give up the ship." Now, obviously, you can see the problem here because the military and the intelligence community fall under the executive branch. And who is the head of the executive branch right now? That's Donald Trump. Senators like Slotkin here, who I have no doubt has no idea what the implications of what she's saying here are basically overthrowing the Constitution, right? A senator telling agencies under the executive branch to disobey the executive branch is in direct contradiction to the Constitution of the United States. Anybody can see that, though Democrats in Congress haven't cared about the Constitution for a very long time, so I'm not too surprised to see it coming from them. So we're going to watch the video that she put up here, and then we're going to get into some of the specifics about what Trump said right after you hit that like button.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Matty Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
who take risks each day.
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
So there you have it, a wonderful group of the dumbest people in Congress, in both the House and the Senate, telling troops essentially to ignore orders from the President of the United States. Now, it's interesting to me that they premise this as saying that troops must disobey illegal orders, which is true. If they're issued an illegal order, troops don't have to follow illegal orders. That being said, they didn't point to any illegal orders because Trump has not been found to have given any illegal orders. What they're doing here is trying to draw a line between the President of the United States and the military, which he has sole control over, pursuant to the Constitution of the United States. I cannot overstate how absolutely horrific it is to see this kind of thing happen, right? These senators, what they are doing is advocating for a military coup against the President of the United States. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't be possible. Senators should be smarter than that. Congressmen should be smarter than that. They frame it as, if your orders violate the Constitution, don't do them. But in reality, these congressmen are the ones encouraging the troops to violate the Constitution. If that's not incredibly illegal, it should be. I can't explain how awful that is. They're literally asking for a military coup against the United States. They didn't ask for too much. They just said, oh, don't obey orders. On the scale of military coups, not the biggest one, but it's the implication from that. It's the president isn't in charge of the military. He can't tell you what to do. Now, if any of you have read the Constitution, you'll know that the president is the commander-in-chief of the military, and they have to do what he says, unless of course it's illegal. But again, there have been no illegal orders. So obviously this video pissed off Trump, and it should have pissed everybody off. If you're an American, this video should piss you off because these Democrat congressmen believe that they know better than the American people. The president of the United States is the elected representative of the American people, and these congressmen think that they can overthrow the last election. They can overthrow the election won by the president, who also won the popular vote, by telling the military not to listen to his commands, right? These Democrats are insurrectionists, and they think that they can overthrow the duly elected government of the United States. That's my opinion of what they're saying here. And it shouldn't be allowed. If they went after all those people for January 6th, they should go after these Democrats for this. They should be in jail. They need to be arrested and charged. And Donald Trump here on Truth Social believes it as well. If we go here, he said, it's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. We won't have a country anymore. An example must be set. President DJT. And he's right. If senators can get away with telling troops to disobey the commander-in-chief of the military, what's the Constitution for anymore? First off, our government is supposed to be a united front. right? They're not supposed to be arguing within each other, and they're especially not to be encouraging troops to disobey orders, because like I said earlier, that's a military coup. May not be the highest tier of military coup, but it certainly is one. And Donald Trump is 100% correct that these people should be arrested and put on trial, because we can't let this thing happen. This is how you get into a civil war. You have Democrats who think that they're popular, who think that they know what they're talking about, going out and starting these things, and eventually there'll be some troops who are not very smart who listen to them, and either those troops are going to end up completely ruining their career and their entire life listening to these people, or things are going to get very bad and there's going to be a civil war. Now, Senator Slotkin here was not happy about Trump's response to her insurrectionist cause. She retweeted Stephen Miller, one of Trump's advisors, saying Democrat lawmakers are now openly calling for insurrection, which I would classify what she said as calling for insurrection. But Senator Alyssa Slotkin said, "This is the law, passed down from our founding fathers to ensure our military upholds its oath to the Constitution, not a king. Given you're directing much of a military policy, you should buff up on the Uniformed Code of Military Justice." First off, I don't believe that Senator Slotkin has any idea what the Uniformed Code of Military Justice is. I also don't believe that she's ever read the Constitution. She is right when they say that they have a oath to the Constitution and not to the king. We don't have a king. Trump has never claimed to be a king. This is some stupid thing the Democrats have been claiming since day one. That's why they had those stupid No King's Day riots that failed horribly. But what she's saying is not the law. She can't just tell troops to disobey orders. Right? She can't. If an order is illegal, the troops can disobey it. Legally, they can. But that doesn't mean that a senator should be encouraging troops to disobey orders. That doesn't mean that a member of the House of Representatives should be encouraging troops to disobey orders. Because that means we're in a civil war. Right? As soon as one side says, don't listen to them, listen to me instead, disobey the Constitution and follow our side, then you're in a civil war. It's not a hot civil war. It's just a cold civil war, where both sides are trying to grab as much power as they can in hopes that they'll win when it comes to a hot civil war. Now, personally, I hope that we don't get to that point, but when you have senators encouraging the military to disobey orders, that puts us a lot closer to it than I think anybody would like. Now, Trump did not stop. He tweeted again and said, seditious behavior punishable by death. And then he tweeted again and said, this is really bad and dangerous to our country. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up? Question mark, question mark, question mark. They should lock them up. I mean, at least they should arrest them and try them. As a member of the government, there's certain things, there's certain lines that you shouldn't cross. And these senators just crossed a big line. Trump went on to say, the traitors that told the military to disobey my orders should be in jail right now, not roaming the fake news networks trying to explain that what they said was okay. It wasn't and never will be. It was sedition at the highest level, and sedition is a major crime. There can be no other interpretation of what they said. I agree with Trump here, and I question once again why Pam Bondi hasn't done anything. The Department of Justice has been completely useless during Trump's administration, as far as I'm concerned. There is nobody in the Trump government who frustrates me more than Pam Bondi and her complete inaction and inability to do anything, despite going on TV every day and talking about how great a job she's doing and how much the Department of Justice is doing, when we clearly haven't seen any results from her on literally any of the topics that anybody cares about. It's incredibly frustrating. Now, Trump also tweeted out and said, many great legal scholars agree that the Democrats that told the military to disobey my orders as president have committed a crime of serious proportion. I think he's right, but I think it's time we take a look at 18 U.S. Code 2384. Seditious conspiracy. Now, for the record, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney, so you can take my opinions here as what they are, just my opinions, the opinions of a YouTuber, not exactly legal fact. And I should mention that even these senators, who I think have no regard for the Constitution, themselves still maintain their innocence until proven guilty in a court of law, because unlike those Democrats, I still believe in the Constitution. 18 U.S. Code 2384 says, if two or more persons in any state or territory, in any place subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, conspire to overthrow, put down, or destroy by force the government of the United States, or to levy war against them, or to oppose by force the authority thereof, or by force to prevent, hinder, or delay the execution of any law in the United States, or by force to seize, take, or possess any property of the United States contrary to the authority thereof, they shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for not more than 20 years, or both. So when Trump's calling for the death penalty, it doesn't seem like that's in play for seditious conspiracy. Treason, I know, carries the death penalty, but I believe you can only be convicted of treason in a time of war, and we're not really at war with anybody. Technically speaking, the war on terror is still going on. The authorization for use of military force passed in 2001 is still valid and used around the world today. So kind of we're at war, but like, I don't know how the courts would handle that. I do think, however, and again, I'm not a lawyer, that what they did falls under this, because there's two or more people, right? There's a bunch of senators and congressmen in there, and they're conspiring, because they're doing it together, to overthrow, because they're overthrowing the Constitution by telling troops not to follow the president's orders. They want to delay the execution of any law in the United States, because obviously what they're talking about in the video is almost certainly either they're worried that the troops are going to be used or are being used as part of ICE operations, which is part of the execution of the law of the United States. So at least in my interpretation of this, and again, I'm not a lawyer, I would say that that falls under this. And then also the use of military force against the drug cartel boats that are crossing the ocean trying to come to the United States, which Democrats have unanimously opposed, despite the fact that Congress could stop that at any point, right? He's doing that under the authorization for use of military force signed way back in 2001, and Congress could take that away at any point. They haven't, because it's incredibly useful, and it's how the war machine keeps grinding in places like Syria, Libya, anywhere else in the world that the United States has troops. And because, again, Trump's use of military force against these drug cartels is legal under the authorization for use of military force passed in 2001, them telling the troops to disobey him would once again delay the execution of any law of the United States, as the use of military force authorization is law. So again, I'm not a lawyer, but I could see some people going down for this. I could see them going to jail for a very long time. I don't think they will, because Pam Bondi has been completely useless. And if anybody from the Trump administration is watching this, please tell them to fire her and put somebody more competent in place. She talks really well. She goes on TV. She sounds great. It's just, I wish she would do her job. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you think that these Democrats have committed sedition against the United States? Do you think they're conspiring to overthrow the government? Or is this one massive overreaction? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. Remember to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and God bless you.